Welcome to season 2 of Amplifying Black Voices, Women's Edition for International Women's Month. Today I am sitting with Ayana Douglas. Hey Ayana,
Hello.
how are you?
Oh, well,
Thank you for joining me today.
thanks for having me.
So today we're here talking about women empowerment, International Women's Month. We're going to dive into who Ayana is and the amazing things that she does. So first, I would like to tell the viewers how we met. So Ayana and I are social media buddies. We met on social media. We actually we share similar, I guess, interests, if you will. We met during a transitional makeover in DC. So we definitely connected right away. And so, Ayana, please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in this area. We're in the DMV in Fort Washington, Maryland. I went to school in Atlanta, all girls school, Spelman College. And
Okay.
after graduation, I thought I wanted to do Wall Street or banking, but I quickly saw that that wasn't for me. You know, every time the alarm clock would go off in the morning, I would cringe. It was just not in my spirit telling me what I wanted to do. So at the time, I was working with Bank of America in Bethesda, doing some banking. I just didn't want to do that anymore. And so I got a job with a global real estate firm called Jones Lang LaSalle. And that was sort of like investment banking, but just with a real estate spin. And they had paid for me to get my real estate license. But at the same time, I still felt that in my spirit when that alarm went off. I'm like, this is just not for me. I think it was something about, punching a clock or something like that. So since I had my real estate license, and at the same time, I had just purchased my first property when I was 23 in DC, and I really liked that process of buying the house and house hunting. So I said, well, I have my license already, so I quit that job and just went on my own solo to real estate sales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was the first major move stepping into entrepreneurship?
Quitting my job. And I was so terrified, but actually, working with Bank of America, they were closing the office and they were relocating to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't want to do that. I had just spent a summer in Charlotte as an intern, and I'm like, it is so slow. It's just not my speed.
Right.
So they gave me a severance package. So I had a little bit of cushion and not just like a complete jump off of a cliff moment. So during that time, I just kind of spent time on my rooftop pool, just kind of thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. And that's when I, started interviewing, got the job with Jones Lang LaSalle. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my first big push into,
Oh, wow.
into kind of just leaving the corporate world behind.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you are a mom.
Yes, I have two girls,
Two
9
girls.
and 11.
So, tell us, how is it juggling entrepreneurship and all that you do, being a mom? I'm pretty sure your kids were homeschooled because of the
Yes.
pandemic for the last year, I guess, almost a year. Tell us about that journey, how that's been.
Oh, it's been ups and downs with me, with my kids. Life is just not supposed to be this way. So we are just kind of handling it one day at a time. My business has suffered a bit because I realized that my kids can't, at the age of 9 and 11, expect to be in front of a TV a computer,
Yeah.
and be responsible for turning in their work and, paying attention and not, jetting off and doing something else when they're supposed to be on screen. So I actually did kind of take a step back to be a better monitor so they wouldn't be totally behind. But I think that now we found a groove somewhat. So I'm able to, this is a spring market. I'm a real estate agent now. So the spring market is really bustling. So I have to kind of move that. I'm not a homeschool mom hat anymore.
Right.
We have to just kind of figure this
Right.
out.
Right.
So it's been very trying, and I don't wish this on anyone. And I'm praying that they go back to school very soon. I pray that everybody gets vaccinated and they're not afraid of it, so we can get back to life.
Right. Yeah, trust me, I know.
Yeah.
So, this is International Women's Month, and this month is all about every month is all about empowering women,
Absolutely.
being there for one another. Just really, owning our space as women. So, tell us how your entrepreneurship journey has been as a woman, not just as a woman, as a Black woman.
Mhm.
And in your world is male dominant, I would assume,
Yes.
right? So tell us a little bit about that. Your experience, any challenges, if there have been any challenges, and just give us some, insight about that.
So when I quit my job at Jones Lang LaSalle, one of the main reasons I did that was because the glass ceiling was just so apparent. There was nobody who looked like me. And I was just very discouraged by it. And I just didn't feel like I had the energy to try to blaze that trail to be that one because, again, it was very corporate. So when I bought my first property, it was a Black man who renovated this Victorian house into 6 units. And I was really intrigued by that process. And so I said, I would, along with my real estate sales business, I would really be interested in learning how to be a real estate developer, which is a completely male-dominated industry.
Absolutely.
So it's been a journey. I have amazing mentors. Most of them are male, but they're willing to help. And I'm not afraid to ask for help. I ask for help all of the time. It's really kind of difficult dealing with contractors because I'm a Black woman. And I'm telling them, like, you need to do this. And they sometimes don't take it that well. So, but, it's been a journey. I've been on that development journey for about 5 or 6 years now. So, it's definitely very trying, but I'm here for it. I know I have what it takes to be successful and to get on top and stay on top. So I'm not afraid. So I'm like, bring it on. I'm ready for the challenges that present themselves.
Great. Okay. So Ayana, so tell us, how important is woman empowerment to you? What does that, when I say woman empowerment, what are some of the things that you think about, the first thing that come to mind, and how do you contribute to that? How are you showing up in that space?
My immediate thought is just how many powerful women have come before me. So it's so important, representation matters, that I can see that others have blazed the trail and for us to be successful on their backs and their struggles. So I really applaud women who take the road less traveled, the unexpected paths, and actually honor their calling inside of them, because we all, are put here for a reason,
absolutely,
for a purpose.
Absolutely.
So the women who are, I most admire going through this journey of empowerment are those that actually are so successful in spite of their circumstances.
Right.
So I know that we, without women, in particular Black women, the world would be such a different place. And I just know our value, I know our struggles, I know our worth, and I know that we can, get on top because we have other women who have gone before us.
So earlier you mentioned the woman who inspired you. Tell us, who's your top 5? Your top 5 most influential women.
Right now, probably because I'm a spelling grad, but Stacey Abrams definitely comes to mind. And she embodies everything that I just talked about. And despite, all the challenges in her path, she is like, this is what I'm here to do. I am going to change the world. And has she ever changed the world? And of course, we have those, like Oprah Winfrey, who similarly has absolutely changed the world despite of her, upbringing where she came from.
Absolutely.
So for 3 more, let's see. Of course, we love Michelle Obama. Who doesn't?
Yes.
For obvious reasons. And of course, our dear Vice President, Kamala Harris.
Absolutely.
Is just kicking butt in the White House. Just to have my children to see those examples of women in their, space, that they can turn on the news, they can turn on the TV and see just how amazing and all the successes that they're having. And one more, let's see, who would be my round out. Somebody like Issa Rae, I just really admire her creativity. I admire that, people who take ownership, who are just not content with, I'm going to go work for somebody, or I'm going to go produce this, result for somebody else. It's okay. I'm going to own my masters. I'm going to, employ my people. So,
talk about owning space. Yes. As a creative, yes, for sure. So, with your journey, not just as entrepreneurship, as a woman, as a mom, can you share one piece of advice that you can give someone else who may be watching that is looking to go into just looking to not only just be an entrepreneur, but just owning their space, owning their lane, showing up as a woman. What kind of advice you can give to that individual?
I would say it's very important to listen to the inner voice because it's there for a reason. I call it the whisper. The whisper is, call it God, call it the universe. But as long as you're in tune with that and like the vibrations that brings, so really listen to what excites you and what absolutely like agitates you, because that kind of dictates the path that you should be on, and the vibrations and the vibes are certainly real. So I would just say, just to gain confidence in your abilities and just to actually, do anything it takes to increase your learning and your expertise, because if you are holding that information and you are on top of your game, then everything else will follow through.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. So, thank you for joining us today. Let us know where we can find you. And,
Sure.
you're a realtor, someone out there
Yes.
looking to
Yes.
purchase some property or
Yes.
just to kind of learn even how to get into this market of real
Absolutely.
estate. Let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, so one of my main objectives is, especially among African Americans, is to increase home ownership and investments in properties, because real estate is the #1 way to create wealth and generational wealth. So my whole objective in being a realtor right now is just to create wealth for people. So you can find me. My Instagram is Ayana Douglas DC. Let's see, email ayana.douglas@gmail.com. You can find me there. And I would love to help anybody who's interested in learning about real estate as a whole or buying or selling. I'm here to help.
And also on Facebook, because we're Facebook.
Oh, yes, there is Facebook. Facebook. I feel old because all the young people are like, you're still on Facebook? But yes,
Listen,
Facebook.
Facebook is, they can say we old all day long, but Facebook is a winner.
Yeah,
Trust and believe. I know a couple of people who are thriving on Facebook. So, but thank you so much for coming out and sharing this space with me. I'm super, super excited about your journey, what you contribute, as a woman of color. And hopefully you'll come back and see us again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Amplify Black Voices Women's Edition for International Women's Month. My name is Genise. I just sat with the lovely Ayana Douglas. Thank you for tuning in.
See, we was down, now we up. It was God, it ain't us. Call it faith, it ain't luck. See, we was down, now we up. See, we was down, now we up. It was God, it ain't us. Call it faith, it ain't luck. See, we was down, now we up. See, we was down, now we up. Wasn't at the bottom. I know there are others who got many way more problems. Dealt a deck of cards to life and you don't know the outcome. When this life is finished,